I'm Carol Kido Jr. with the news. In this edition, PM opens stadium in Wallium, GBV Advisory Committee explains functions, and Hunters triumph over Cutters. Prime Minister James Marape has urged the people of Usinobundi in Medang to use their brand new sporting complex to also promote agriculture, SMEs, and second chance education. The stadium was funded by the District Development Authority. The PM was invited by fellow Pangu Party member and local MP Jimmy Uguro to celebrate the new facility with his people.
Prime Minister James Marape has encouraged the people of Usinobundi to invest in agriculture and SME. He made the call at Walum Station on Thursday when opening the magnificent Usinobundi Sports Stadium. The stadium was funded by the District Development Authority. The Prime Minister was accompanied by Medang Governor Sep Pitayama, Agriculture and Livestock Minister John Simon, Higher Education and Sports Minister Wesley Raminai, and local MP and Minister for Education Jimmy Uguro. PM Marape also kicked off the Prime Minister's Cup competition. He also launched the free education policy and did the groundbreaking for the new DDA office complex at Wallium. He said the stadium must be a venue not just for sports, but a place where young men and women can use to promote agriculture and SMEs to be self-sufficient and also give themselves a second chance to education. The Prime Minister stressed that the government was also putting money into agriculture as exemplified by its price support program. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Meantime, Prime Minister James Marape says the World Bank's latest economic update highlighted the importance of agriculture to grow the PNG economy. He said, more importantly, land is in the hands of people, and if this land is used and the government focuses on agriculture, all citizens will enjoy a higher standard of living. More people will pay tax, more people will pay for goods and services, and the country will grow. He added that our future looks bright, however, it all depends on today's generation going back to the land. Prime Minister James Marape has announced the awarding of a 159 million kina contract for the Ramu Highway in Medang and 43 million kina to extend the North Coast Road from Bogia to Awa. This and several other road projects total up to 1.4 billion kina.
Minister James Marape, when making the announcement of 159 million kina road project in Usinobundi while opening a state-of-the-art stadium recently. He also presented 5 million kina to Medang Governor Sep Pitayama for construction of the Banu Bundi road that will eventually link up Gembog in Chimbu. The Ramu Highway is among 1.4 billion kina of new road contracts throughout Papua New Guinea and add to those already in place under the Marape government's signature Connect PNG program, for which about 1 billion kina has been expended over the last 2 years on roads throughout the country. The Prime Minister announced the awarding of contracts including 147.5 million kina for the first stretch of the Wewak to Vanimo Highway up to Aitape, 115.9 million kina for the Momote Airport to West Coast Road in Manus, 164 million kina for upgrade of Imulima Bridge to Moregoina stretch of Magi Highway in Central, 138.5 million kina for New Britain Highway from Kimbe in West New Britain to Kokopo in East New Britain, 15 million kina for sealing of Darutown roads, and 66 million kina for Bulolo Highway resealing. Marape said the government has not forgotten Usinobundi and Medang. Usinobundi, one of Medang's most remote districts, has road access as a top priority because basic government services are not reaching its people of Usinobundi and Gama. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Persons with a disability must be given the chance to vote in the 2022 national elections. In 2012 elections, more than 200 PWDs were able to vote under an arrangement with the PNG Electoral Commission, funded by AusAid's Electoral Support Program.
The 2012 general elections are the first since independence to facilitate people with a disability to be able to vote freely in their designated polling places or to receive a postal ballot if they are unable to come to vote in a polling place. It is not clear if this was done for other provinces as well. In the last election in 2017, in NCD, PWDs were allowed to vote in a separate polling station at the Cheshire Disability Services at Hola. Cheshire Disability Services have confirmed that there is yet to be a similar arrangement with the PNG EC for the 2022 national elections. Moreover, in the recent Mosby Northwest by-election, Cheshire confirmed that there wasn't a polling booth for PWDs at their location. It is not clear if the PNG EC had set up a separate location in the electorate for PWDs to go to vote or if polling venues were accessible. According to the PNG Assembly of Disabled Persons, or PNG ADP, an organization established to promote and protect the rights of PWDs, there has been consultations with the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, or IFES, to ensure disability access to enrollment and polling. IFES is a key partner to the PNG EC. Through the Strengthening Advances in Governance and Elections project, the IFES provide technical support and capacity building to the PNG EC. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
TVWAN News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The National GBV Advisory Committee, in a press conference on Friday, 18th March, took the opportunity to advise the purpose of its roles and responsibilities for the media to disseminate. The committee also informed of their budget plan's main outcomes. The National GBV Advisory Committee, in a sanctioned meet, told media that its purpose was to meet on a quarterly basis to discuss issues about GBV, and from this committee, they will report straight to NEC, who will then deliberate on this matter where it is relevant to the country to try and address the issues experienced currently. Secretary for the Department of Community Development, Jerry Ubase, told media that the national government has also provided a budget support of 7.9 million kina, wherein the committee will meet and decide on how it should be utilized to support not only new initiatives but the existing services that have already been provided. Mr. Obase read out the outcomes, two of them being to set up GBV governance and operational structure at national and subnational levels, and also GBV research is identified with partners, produced and used. Mr. Obase went on to explain in brief of the committee's specific functions, with the main ones being to oversee the operations and administration of the National GBV Secretariat to ensure that their work is meeting the needs of GBV survivors and public more generally. Provide guidance to the National GBV Secretariat, the government, on the effective implementation of the National GBV Strategy, including by providing advice on the following, including issues and approaches for addressing sorcery accusation-related violence and coordination of efforts to address the violence against women and children. DFCDR is chair of the committee. Co-chairs are National Planning, Provincial Affairs, CLRC, Child Welfare, and Department of Health. The PNG Forest Authority has been observing and celebrating the International Day of Forests since it was recognized by the National Executive Council Decision Number 223 of 2014. March 21st was proclaimed International Day of Forests by the UN General Assembly. In a lead-up to the IDOF, one of the major events is the stakeholder workshop held on the 18th of March. During this time, winners of the float competition were announced. The first ever Forest Day was observed on 21st March 2013, and this year would be the 10th time of its annual observance, with different themes chosen each year. This year's International Day of Forest theme is Forests and Sustainable Production and Consumption, with the slogan Choose Sustainable Wood for People and the Planet. IDOF is the day PNG FA carries out awareness on the importance and purpose of IDOF, especially to schools, planting seedlings of timber species, and to the general public. On 18th March, directors of the National Forest Service held a workshop where they presented main objectives of the duties and responsibilities of PNG FA and the importance of the forest sector in the PNG economy to key stakeholders. During this workshop, winners of the IDOF floats were also announced, and the presentation was done by Alois Jenkihau. The theme for each International Day of Forests is chosen by the Collaborative Partnership on Forests. Number One Super Limited celebrated the contributions of Professor David Kavanagh as he exits from the NSL board on Wednesday, 18th March 2022. NSL also officially welcomed the newly appointed board member, Daniel Siaguru Kaiser, to the board.
Professor David Kavanagh joined the Number One Super Limited board in August 2012 and was granted an extension to his tenure by the Bank of PNG until February 2022. NSL Chairman Reginald Monagi thanked Professor Kavanagh for his 10 years of service to the NSL members. Monagi remarked that Professor Kavanagh has over 30 years of professional experience in the fields of economics, strategic management, infrastructure and education, which he utilized throughout his tenure to help build Number One Super into what it is today. During his tenure, he also served on board subcommittees as the chairman of the membership committee and was instrumental in the functions of the transformation and investment committees. Professor Kavanagh was described as member-centric, having come from a public sector background, which gave him a deep understanding of the needs of NSL's 208,000 members. Monagi also welcomed Daniel Siaguru Kaiser to the board. He joins Dr. Thomas Webster and Michael Uairi, who were recently appointed to the NSL board also. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
And that ends the news segment. Sports is next. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The new Look PKG Gulf ISO side under rookie coach Roger Laka are slowly but surely making an early statement they cannot be taken lightly in the upcoming season. After two impressive trial matches against Moniplus, NCD Vipers and Croton Hella Wigman over the two past weekends, Laka said it's still at work in progress.
Playing second fiddle to the more fancied and high-profile Digicel Cup rival teams, this year could be a thing of the past for the new Look Gulf franchise. Since the appointment of Roger Laka as head coach early this year, things are starting to happen with a new approach and change of team culture. Bringing former players back to be part of the coaching staff in the likes of Mo Evara, Lawrence Tu'u, Omaro and Killory to share experience and knowledge of the game and motivate players is slowly rubbing off on the overall team's preseason trials. Last week, ISO proved too strong for Wigmen, beating them 18-0 in their first trial. In their second hit-out at the Sir John Guy Stadium on Saturday, ISO scored 3 unanswered tries in the first half to lead 16-0 halftime and eventually took the game 16-4 over Vipers at full-time. Although impressed with the attitude and the work ethics of his boys, Coach Laka said it's still a work in progress.
It's just the energy, backing up. We did a lot of errors, especially on our own end. Boys backing each other up and, defending our try line, it's just preventing, easy points.
Laka said at training, a lot of focus and emphasis has been on their defense, which is working for them so far.
We've worked hard really on our defense, so yeah, so far so good, yeah. Leading up to the game now, we just touch on our attack. In patches we haven't, really put on a good attacking display yet, but.
ISO will have their next trial match against CP Central Dabaris in the coming week. Salome Vincent, TV1 Sports.
The PNG Hunters have kicked off their 2022 Host Plus Cup season with a tough 16-10 win over the Makai Cutters at BB Prince Stadium, Makai. The Hunters enjoyed an excellent start, getting through their opening set before strong contact in defence forced the Cutters into an error with their first possession.
Starting props Casey Dixon and Sylvester Namo consistently bent the line with their carries to open the game, and Makai had no answer. Hunters forced yet another error in Makai's half. From the attacking scrum, right centre Roderick Tai summed things up smartly to put Solowane over in the corner for the opening try. Gilbert Isaac was next to score for the Hunters, crashing over under the post courtesy of a lovely pass from Weza Tensa at dummy half. The Cutters were next to score after finding some space around the ruck and racing 70 metres upfield, only for Solowane to complete a superb chase cover tackle. Wane's effort forced the Cutters to search wide for points, and they missed the ensuring conversion, keeping the Hunters lead at 8 going into the break. The Cutters didn't die wondering in the second half. They mounted a stack of pressure late in the game to have 5 consecutive sets attacking the Hunters' line, finally scoring off a cross-field bomb in the 66th minute. But that's as close as Makai would get. The Hunters held on bravely in the final stages, with Juna Rimbu kicking the lead out to 6 with just minutes remaining. The win will fill the Hunters with confidence heading into next Saturday's match with the Central Queensland Capras. The PNG Hunters head coach Matt Church said he was encouraged by the round 1 performance. Church gave credit for a strong pre-season for how the Hunters were able to repeatedly defend their line in the second half. Jerry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
The PNG Barramundis have registered an upset win at the ICC World Cup League 2 Match 15, thumping second-place United Arab Emirates in their own backyard, the Dubai International Stadium. PNG won by 6 wickets with 82 balls remaining.
The losing streak of 18 straight ODIs is over as the PNG boys did it in style, thumping the second-placed United Arab Emirates in their own backyard. April 27, 2019 was the last time the PNG Barramundis won an ODI match. Today, however, it was the moment we've all been waiting for a long time in between ODI wins, but the PNG Barramundis have done it. PNG Barras were 4 for 150, UAE all out for 147. The match was set up by a brilliant bowling and fielding performance. Ali now, with a combination of swing and consistency, the chief destroyer, with an incredible career best of 4 for 27 from 10 overs, all 4 wickets, the UAE top 4. Ali's efforts backed up by crafty medium pacers Chad Sopi 3 for 15 and Riley Hekura 2 for 29, and some brilliant economical bowling by Kabua Moria and Asad Vala, despite a late rally from the UAE, reviving from 9 for 77 to post 147. It was always going to be the Barras' day. An early couple of wickets made for some nervous moments during the round chase. However, it was stalwarts and PNG cricket legend Asad Vala who steered the ship, nullifying the UAE spin threat, and with cameos from CJ Amini 36 and Rayleigh Hekura 16, it was a famous and pressure-relieving victory, one no doubt the boys have truly earned. Barras' focus now shifts to Nepal on the 22nd and looking confident to grab victory number 2. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
And that ends the news tonight. Remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.